Okay, welcome to Project 1 presentation. This is Charlie. First, let's take a look at what we did in this project. And we learned TD lambda method by replicating Sutton's paper experiment. And first, we generated the training set, 100 training set, each of which contains 10 walk sequences. And then to replicate the figure 3 in Sutton's paper, we are focused on the impact of lambda value to the results based on the best learning rate. And the second experiment is focused on the impact of different learning rate to the process, where I used the same TD lambda algorithm with a previous one to implement this experiment. And for the figure 5, this experiment performed the same learning process with a second, except that the only best learning rate was considered for plotting figure 5. Let's take a look at my implementation. I implement the training data get generator. The call method is called random walk. The initial state was set to 4, which is a binary representation of state D, 0, 1, 0, 0. And then we will go through this while loop until it hits either 32 or 0. 32 is a representation of state A, and 0 is a state of G. And either working left or right is determined by this random bit. Then TD lambda algorithm is implemented based on these two equations in Sutton's paper. And as you can see, this is a code snippet from my code base. And this is just literally just a code representation of these two equations. When the timing to update this weight vector is determined by specific experiment you are doing. By running that core algorithm, we will result in the data point we have for plotting these figures. This is the figure 3, same with Sutton's. TD0 has a best result, TD1 has a worst, and as the tendency is the same too. Figure 4 is the one to explore learning rate. My figures matches with Sutton's in the tendency of all curves, as you can see, all of which prove the alpha had a significant impact to the learning result. All curves went lower at the beginning and started increasing after it hits a lower rest point. And also find my data point in my figure as a lower error rate than Sutton's. And also later of my point the curve didn't increase strongly like Sutton's. I think this is caused by the training set, since we only learned 1,000 walks in the experiment, and the results depend on the training set a lot. That's why it's a subtle difference here. And this is a figure 5, same with Sutton's. TD1 has a best result, and the only difference is Sutton's figure 5, the best error rate is around 0.3, but mine is around 0.45. Assumptions in this experiment I made. One is the convergence criteria. I set the value to 0.005. It works fine, and also has a reasonable computation time. Decrease the criteria with resulting a more accurate result, but will consume more time. And also, Sutton's paper assume the initial weight as 0.05 to prevent bias. I explain why this is justified in my report. And it also assume the function is linear, since it works fine in this experimentation. And to sum up, in this project, all of the 3 figures in Sutton's paper were replicated successfully. Although there were some differences in the detail of the figure, the results still stick to the conclusion in the paper. I also had a better understanding of the TD lambda algorithm, both intuitively and theoretically, through the project. Thank you.